So this is the second video from Chapter 2, Section 6. In this video we focus on finding x and y intercepts of rational functions. So let's just start off with a little review. If we're talking about an x-intercept, that would be any x value whose y value is 0. And so our answer for that would be that x value, comma 0. A y-intercept is any y value whose x value is 0. And for that, the answer, if we're talking about a point, would be 0, comma, whatever that y value happens to be. So if we just apply that to maybe a very basic line, if we wanted to find the x and y intercepts of 4x minus 7, y equals 4x minus 7, to find the x-intercept, I set y equal to 0. Excuse me. This is for the x-intercept. We set y equal to 0. We're trying to solve for x, so I bring the 7 to the other side, divide both sides by 4, and then that's my x-intercept. I write my answer as 7/4 or 1.75 or 1 3/4, whatever you want there, comma 0, and this would be my x-intercept. To find my y-intercept, then I would say set x equal to 0. Four times, whoops, what I do? Yep, that's right. 4 times 0 is 0. I get y equals negative 7, and so my answer for that would be, let's see, 0, whoops, hit a wrong button there. Would be 0, comma, negative 7. Now, if you think about this last one here, finding the y-intercept, hopefully you saw that the answer was the same as our constant in the original, and that will always be true. Okay, so I'm going to be plugging a 0 in for the x, so that constant becomes my y-intercept. So that was basic review. Let's look at a rational function and see if we can make sense of that. A couple questions. Since we're dealing with a rational function, a fraction, when does a fraction equal 0? That's going to happen when the numerator, let's use shorthand, when the numerator equals 0. And how do we find the y value of a fraction if x is going to equal 0? Well, any place there's an x, that's going to go away because we plug a 0 in for it. So we look at the constants in the numerator and denominator. So if I want to make this rational function in example 2 equals 0, I want to make y equals 0. I have to figure out how to make the entire fraction equal 0. All I'm going to worry about is this numerator. Okay, so this thing is set equal to 0, which means what makes this equal 0. I just need to worry about the numerator. I don't care what I divide by. If I can get 0 on top, dividing by any number is going to be fine. I don't want this to be 0 because I can't divide by 0. I just have to think about the top part and say, how can I make this equal 0? So I would say to find the x-intercept, let's do my work for that, and make 0 equal x squared minus 7x plus 10. This looks like a little review of factoring. So I'd say 0 is going to equal two numbers that multiply to 10, add up to negative 7. That would be a plus 5. I'm sorry, that would be a minus 5, come on, and a minus 2, which means either x minus 5 has to equal 0 or x minus 2 has to equal 0. For the first part, x could be 5. For the second part, x could be 2. And then my answers for that then would be 5, comma 0, and 2, comma 0. Those are my x-intercepts, where y equals 0. Okay, to find the y-intercept, for that I can just plug zeros in for any x. So for this, I would just kind of think through it. If I were to plug a 0 in here and here and here, they all go away. I'm just left with a 10 over 4. So for this one, probably don't have to show a lot of work, but if you're a little nervous about this on a test, it definitely doesn't hurt to say, just to show me, I thought of going 0 squared minus, let's see if I can undo that here easily. Of course not. There we go. There goes 0 squared minus 7 times 0 plus 10 over 0 plus 4. At least then you're showing me some work of what you did. So you just get 10 over 4 from that, or 2.5. And then your answer would be, now you plug the 0 in for x, you got 2.5 as your answer at that point. So we can get 10 over 4 right away, but you can show some work and that doesn't hurt. So hopefully that's not too hard to follow there. We're going to put all of this stuff together in our last video of this lesson. Jot down some questions. See you in class.